Hey guys, Crafty1 here, and I think we all know that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct this June 18th. 2 days from the time of this recording. And to be honest, we haven't heard anything yet. Nintendo has announced Direct a day before the actual Direct itself in the past, but the closer we get to that date, the more or less likely this is going to become. So I'll briefly go over why we know it's going to be on the 18th, but what is going to be in the Direct based off of information we know. Kind of like pseudo predictions, but more research based, because who doesn't like research? So if you guys didn't know, we actually already got a Direct confirmation directly from Nintendo. This was on May 7th, where they say, and I quote, "We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024. But please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation." That alongside a random Among Us trailer that dropped that was supposed to be slated for June 18th lets us know that it might be on June 18th. Going a little bit more into the Among Us trailer, it was specifically for the Switch, and it was shadow dropped, and we have gotten shadow dropped Among Us updates in a Nintendo Direct before. So it seems pretty likely. And it wasn't just a trailer that got randomly released as well. There was also articles that were slated for June 18th that accidentally got randomly uploaded. So this was definitely a press release. But now that we know when the Direct might be, let's talk about the games. Of course, we already know that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is coming in June 27th, and they will probably show a little bit in this Direct, as well as a Nintendo World Championship game coming July 18th. And going off of the tweet that mentioned the Direct in the first place, they did say the software lineup for the latter half of 2024 for just the Nintendo Switch. So that limits the amount of games down sizably. And I'll get into that in just a second, but if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button to get notified when I go live reacting to this Direct. If it's on Tuesday, because I got time off for Tuesday. Anyways, Midori actually leaked a bunch of code names for multiple projects that Nintendo's are working on. By identifying what games are the code names, we are able to somewhat figure out what games are slated for this year and for the Switch. If you want to see an in-depth analysis of all the code names, go ahead and click that link in the top right corner of your screen. Of the 5 code names that we did get, 2 of them stood out: Project Edward and Project Banquet. Project Edward is likely to be a Legend of Zelda remake of the same vein of Link's Awakening. With it being a remake, it is highly likely to come out this year and for the Switch. Now, the question is, what Legend of Zelda game will they choose? Of course, they have Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD. But personally, since it follows the same naming scheme as Link's Awakening, I think they will go for a top-down Zelda. And it kind of just sounds like a Nintendo thing to do. Why not release a remake of A Link to the Past? Another top-down Zelda that is highly beloved that could use for a good makeover. I could see a lot of people enjoying this game as much, if not more, than Link's Awakening. And a Legend of Zelda game would be perfect for like a November slot, or maybe even an October slot to kind of get that pre-Christmas hype. But one game that I could see being a holiday title is Project Banquet, which is supposedly a Mario Party game because it's developed by ND Cube. And Mario Party games normally come at the end of every life cycle of a console. So seeing one that could be developed and is at the end of the life cycle, it is highly likely we're going to get one. But I do think there is likely for another title to get this. And I think this one might be slated for more of an August release. So those 4 titles are basically everything that is practically confirmed, almost confirmed. We have minimal information on. What I have next are assumptions or predictions based off of data that we do have. Since 2 out of the 4 of our data-driven games are remakes, it is likely to assume Nintendo is kind of gonna go full force into the remakes this year. Again, it makes a lot of sense. The Switch is at the end of the life cycle. It's best not to put too much manpower into the games, but of course you want that money. And remakes are the best bet to get the most money for the least amount of effort. I'm thinking first 3DS remade games. Specifically, Tamagotchi Life and or Kid Icarus. We already got Miitopia, so Tamagotchi Life just makes the most logical sense to be next. And Kid Icarus is one of the most beloved games on the 3DS and has been stated would work better not on the 3DS. Plus, it might even revive a somewhat dead franchise. Seems like a win-win. Good business decision. But speaking of another remaster slash remake, there is a possibility for another F-Zero game. Last Direct, we got the shadow drop of F-Zero 99, and that brought F-Zero back into the limelight, making it the most popular it has ever been. So why not capitalize on that engagement, and during a period where there isn't a Mario Kart, and remaster F-Zero GX. It just makes a lot of sense. Right now, there isn't an active Nintendo racer, so it's a perfect spot to put in a different franchise that won't conflict with Mario Kart. F-Zero GX makes the most sense to me because it's the most unique, but there's also possibility for another Kirby game, because Kirby has now become an annual franchise, releasing a mainline or spin-off game every year, and we're coming up on that deadline. So why not kill two birds with one stone? Release a Nintendo racer and a Kirby game with Kirby Air Ride. Again, these are all kind of assumptions on basic business trends, but it makes the most sense for them to do this. But we all know Nintendo doesn't make a lot of sense. Speaking of making not a lot of sense, Prime 4, it got announced 7 years ago. To be honest, I would like it to come out on the Switch. And since we know that this Direct is focusing only on the Switch, and it is hypothetically the last Direct for the Switch, it could be a December title. And this could be like the one more thing, Prime 4, boom, bada bing, bada boom, release date December. Lastly, of our data-driven predictions, we have Donkey Kong. With the opening of the Nintendo Land expansion of Donkey Kong, as well as I think it's 35th anniversary, I might be wrong in saying that. It just makes a lot of sense. But a game that I want to see, that I have literally no data for, is Rhythm Heaven. The only data statistic I have is that we haven't got a game since the Wii. And Rhythm Heaven just seems like a perfect title for the Switch. You can have 2-player mode, take out the both Joy-Cons, and boom, competition, rhythm competition. And if we get a Rhythm Heaven game this Direct with a competition mode, I'm gonna classify myself as a leaker. Anyways, that's about everything I have for all of my predictions and data-driven assumptions. If you guys have any predictions, don't forget to put them in the comment section down below. And subscribe so you get notified when I go live and when a video goes up. And don't forget to like this video. I worked so hard on it. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, I'm Crafty Dev 1, and I will see you guys when we watch the Direct. Bye.